Hello and welcome to a smerdp video, and it's time for the finale of Boom Studios and IDW's team up of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this is written by Parrott, illustrations by Dan Morale, and Raul Angelulo is on the colors, and Ed Dukeshire, as always, is on the letters. So our final issue begins with the Rangers arriving at the command center and enjoying teleporting rather than the classic blimp, and they intend to get the morphing grid and Zord and Alpha back up and running is the intent. However, Rita arrives with a crazed, mind-controlled Casey to tackle them, etc. Meanwhile, the other Rangers are back on Earth fighting rock monsters, and they've also got Megazord Krang looming over them, and the powers are apparently back, and Tommy can call on the Dragon Sword. However, his hands are too big to use his digits, so to speak. So, guess who arrives? Shredder arrives, and the power has been returned, and the connection to the morphing grid has been restored. Which seemed a bit convenient because I felt like they hadn't achieved that. So I can only gather that Alpha and Zord in the background have done something. So maybe a plot twist, or maybe I've just forgotten something from the last issue. I've missed something, one or the other. I can't remember. Anyway, it's time for Shredder to morph. Let's be honest. This is so cool. I love this morph costume. I love the figure that I've got with this morph costume. Big fan of it, etc. So, one thing that Shredder does say to Tommy is, when you can be this morphed version of yourself, why do you turn back to human? And he says, well, everybody needs a we. So he calls on the Dragon Zord, and he is clearly enjoying himself. Meanwhile, Kimberly and Sabertooth Tiger and Pterodactyl, Kimberly and Trini casually say, we're surprised that Shredder hasn't betrayed us yet, and they wish that Zordon was here. And guess who just casually rocks up? Mech Turtle, Zordon, and Alpha leading the way in a Zord, getting on that front line, which is awesome. And we've seen it a few times where Zordon's been able to get on the front line, and it's pretty darn awesome. I also love the fact that he's on Alpha's shoulder and projects himself there, which is pretty awesome, etc. And they also mentioned that they received Bulk and Skull's distress broadcasts as well. So, Krang Megazord is fighting Dragon Zord and Turtle Zord. So I'm going to call it. I don't think it's actually been defined in here, etc. And I love the fact that you can see just zoom in a little bit. You can see Krang in the reflection of the Zord, which is pretty darn cool. I like that bit. Krang really wants to make sure that Zord ends up buried here with the people that he loves, etc. But not if Shredder has anything to say. So Raph is taking on Case and making jokes about his the things you do for a girl, etc. Meanwhile, the other turtles aren't doing so well against Rita Repulsa, who says that she didn't, all fathers control and manipulate the children just like your rallies, etc. And I wasn't free until I finally decided to murder mine, which I thought was quite interesting, etc. Quite an interesting thing to drop in there. So the Rangers are all captured, etc. And Casey is given the task of killing his friends. And then Raph says, don't worry, it's okay, Casey. I know this ain't you, brother. Swing away. And for some reason, Casey manages to break himself out of this spell. So Tommy was never able to do that. It took Jason destroying a Sword of Darkness, etc. Whereas Casey was able in there somehow to break it, but you don't see the internal struggle. I would have liked to see more struggle for a couple of these pages that he's fighting it. Do you know what I mean? Just moments, glimpses of it popping up. That would have made this bit a little bit more seamless, etc. Rather than, wow, that just happened. How did, how can Casey do that? Do you know what I mean? Not that I'm a big Turtle fan. I've never read any comics, so maybe that's where I don't know. Maybe I would understand more about Casey if I read those comics, and maybe I'm just being a bit too harsh. It is a comic, and these easy plot holes that are just dropped in there do just seemingly work themselves out. So now it's time to power up, power extreme. Casey knocks Rita Repulsor out. So 1 down, 1 to go. However, Kang's Megazord has great big blasters, etc. And just before he's about to destroy Shredder, his greatest failure apparently, the Rangers come flying in and use their new abilities to attack it, even though they're really small, etc. Now, the Dragon Zord has been upgraded, apparently, and guess what it can do? Yes, that's right, it can combine into Dragon Turtle Zord. They powered it up, people. So, which is really cool. I would have liked to see the 3 of them in a cockpit. That would have been pretty awesome. And that's another thing. Tommy only went in the cockpit a couple times. Shredder is straight in there, piloting the Zord, etc. So the other thing that Shredder makes a point to say, yeah, I returned you back to, some sort of power, Kang, and we could have ruled this world together. He generally believed this, but this route that he's taken here, he does not agree with. This destruction, etc. It's not about destruction. It's about the power, etc. So it's all done and dusted. April gives a nice moment to Bulk and Skull and their new interns at Channel 6. Also, they talk about the new heroes, and more will be coming up on them in the next weeks. Kang and Rita are put in dumpsters and sent on their merry way. And Shredder says, Splinter goes for the peace speak, where Shredder says, peace will never be between us. I intend to destroy you in the future, etc. Blah, blah, blah. And pretty much Splinter says, that's the closest you're ever going to get to a thank you from Shredder. So it's a nice moment. Well done. The Turtles are able to come to the juice bar. What am I talking about? It's right there in the corner. And they're probably able to enjoy pizza, etc. The Rangers are missing their new found abilities when they were changed into the dinosaurs, humans, whatever you want to call them. And we get a nice thing, Power Bunga, which is pretty cool. I like that. Meanwhile, Casey and April are going to go to Dimension X's Rangers and try to bring it back to some sort of normality, etc. So there's a new mission there. Also, Shredder I feel like he's been able to duplicate a power coin and a morpher, etc. And he's reached out to some of the minions, etc. and somebody else to gain newfound alliance. So let's be honest, I really enjoyed this crossover. I enjoyed the first crossover. I'm glad it was left open. I'm glad that this one has also been left open with a brand new alliance. Lord Zed and Shredder are teaming up. So we can only hope. I hope it's not another 2 years before we get a new crossover. I mean, I actually, we're in 2023. Are we going to get one at the end of 2023? Perhaps not. It's more likely we will perhaps get one towards the end of 2024. Because that would make sense with how this was released after the first one. So I'm glad that they did another crossover. I'm glad it's still open because Ryan, throughout this whole crossover, has written written a story so well, so much fun, so you know, it was just brilliant. There's great character development. There were great action moments. The artwork from Dan is beautiful in this run, etc. So they do deliver time and again. Now, my only concern is if they keep doing these books, at some point, is it going to become diluted? Are they going to take it too far, and then we forget all the amazingness off the last two crossovers because they end up making mistakes? That would be my only concern. Now, some writers have a knack of knowing now's the time to stop. Some don't, and they just carry on, and then it becomes, oh, do I really want to read him again? I've read too much of him. And actually, I've got to say, it's quite actually refreshing that Ryan gave up the reins after his run. You got to remember, he was on Go-Go Power Rangers for a long time, and then he did the Mighty Morphin and the Power Ranger, the two series there, which ended up with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 100, and now we've got a new writer, Melissa. Yeah, it's Melissa. Doing it now. So that just creates a new, fresh thoughts, fresh ideas, and it's nice. So I hope that I think Ryan knows when now's the time to stop. But this has been great, and I do hope we get a round 3. I'm interested in round 3 already, so I hope it happens. Especially with Lord Zed, the story has to be right, doesn't it? And this story was right from start to beginning. It was just brilliant, just flowed really well. It had the right sort of inklings, the right reasons for them catching up, and I don't mind them morphing into dinosaur humans or whatever. It's just fun. So anyway, I hope you like my review. If you do, please support my channel by subscribing. We appreciate that. Thank you to those that are subscribed. Without you, I don't have a channel. Thank you very much for everybody who's watched as well. And make sure you look after yourself. Embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.